Hey everybody, welcome to Carol's Current Obsession. Today we're doing the long promised sock tutorial video. Let's get to it. So what I do for smaller dolls is I take some of these dollar store socks. Now you find them in these kind. They're called chatties here in America. And you can find them at the dollar store. I think Walmart sells them too. So what you do, it's really simple. You open up your package, and often there is in the bottom of your package, with these anyways, they come in sets of 3. So underneath the cardboard with the first 2, there's some that haven't been stretched out. I like the ones that haven't been stretched out best because they work better. To me, they work better. They're not already in a position, so to speak. The elastic hasn't been made into a position. Here's what we're going to do. Now, these ones always come stretched already, and I only like to use the heel section of them, but they do make really cute socks for your doll anyway, even if you can only use the section. And since it's $1, I mean, you can use the rest of this for something else. Anyway, okay. Here we have a vintage 14-inch, kind of like a Toni doll. So I'm going to show you on her, and then I'm also going to show you on the little Paola Reina as well. And you can see I've already made her some little socks. Alright, so it's not very hard. Let's show, first of all, what you're going to want to do is make sure that your little sock here is turned inside out. So they're small, and you can use a trouser sock and make longer ones. You can use an old pair of pantyhose, which I'm going to show you that for tights, and you can use these little chatties for short socks. The other thing we're going to use to make these to make the tights out of, is a pair of children's tights. Now, I got these tights from the local thrift store called the Desert Industries, and they were $1. You know, they have a little bit of discoloration on the one side. That doesn't matter because I'll show you. We're going to use these too. And I like a lot of stretch, and I'll show you why. You take this and you make sure it's turned inside out. Then you slide it on your doll's foot and you measure, okay, you look at that and you say, well, right about there. You pop it off and you look at that and you decide, well, that's about 1 inch. I'm going to sew about 1 inch from there. And this will make 2. Okay, so we're going to take about 1 inch and stitch straight down. Let's see if you can see this. Straight down. Okay, and then we're going to take and sew 1 inch from the other side straight down. Alright, and I'm doing it in white thread so that you can see, but if you're doing black, obviously do it in black thread. And if you've got white socks, do it in white thread. I just didn't know if it'd show up. So, all I do is oh, sorry, I have to start it. Okay, there we go. You just stitch down, all the way down, and back stitch. I set my machine at like a 2, which is a very, very small stitch because you're working with this and you want it to stretch, okay? When you're working with more stretchy stuff, you want tiny stitches. And that just makes it not want to come out as easy also, okay? So you just stitch on down 1 inch away from your edge there. Let's see. Now if we were using another piece, I like to use these because it gives you a finished edge on the top. And if it was like if it was a piece of tights that you're using, then obviously you're going to have to prep it a little. You're going to have to stitch the bottom and then fold the top down and then do this part. Now, you just snip. Okay, snip away. Snip away. That's all we gotta do. Okay? There's a little bit of waste in the middle, but not too big. Okay. Now we flip these little hummers inside out. Oh yeah. And cut your thread. Might want to cut your thread. Okay. You just flip it inside out. Alrighty. Ba-doop. And we have a sock. Okay, very, very, very simple way to make socks for your doll. And just put the seam in back. Okay, I'll show you. And because we've used such elastic material, it conforms. We didn't have to cut any special shape or anything. It just conforms to the doll's leg shape, stretches where it needs to stretch, and goes in where it needs to go in. So very, very fast, very easy, very cheap, totally worth it. I will say this though, I do not recommend colored socks to stay on your doll for a long time because it may end up discoloring their legs. I've never had it, but you know, some people dress their doll and leave it on for 50 years and then you may end up with discoloration. So disclaimer, don't leave colored socks on your doll for a long 50 years period of time. There we go. Alright, so there she is. She's got socks. How fun is that? And I'll show you on the Paola Reina doll. I did the exact same thing. The only difference is that I made them a little bit bigger because I wanted them to be slouchy. So that's it. That's all you do. You can see the little seam in the back there too. So it's not hard. So we want to do tights. They want tights for this doll. And I'm going to make pink tights for the Paola Reina. You can use a half. Okay. So I'm only going to use half of the very top of these tights. Now, since it's a pair of tights, you can use a lot. You can make a lot of socks out of a pair of tights. But it might be more difficult to make tights out of a pair of tights more than twice. Just because I like using this already prepped edge. So that's really nice. Alright, so first things first, we're going to take our doll. Let's take her socks and shoes off that we put on her. Okay. Alright. And we're going to measure how long her tights need to be. Now, let's put your arm up there, chica. Okay. Now, so it looks like right about here. Okay. We're going to cut right there. And we're going to cut along this center crotch seam in the tights. Okay. Cut that out. Make sure our seam is all the way gone. Oh, we don't need that extra bulk. So you see on the back side there's a little bit left. Take that off. Alrighty, now I forgot how long it was. So we have to hold it back up to the doll because, yeah, apparently can't multitask that much. Alright, let's see. Oh yeah, right there. Okay. Now we're gonna chop this off. I'm gonna make them just a little bit. There we go. We're gonna look at these tights and see if this is gonna fit around her waist. Yep, it sure is. See there? So we're good to go. So first things first, we are going to stitch up. Whoops. Oh, see, there's some here that didn't end up getting cut. And it's not the end of the world. We're going to flip it inside out and we're going to stitch along this raw edge right here. Let's do that. So make sure your edges are even and do a 1/4 inch from the edge, you know. Back stitch. Ugh. Need to oil this thing. Listen to that. Actually, it's probably the bobbin that's it's almost empty. It makes a clatter when the bobbin's nigh into empty. I hate that loud noise. Makes it sound like I'm not taking care of my machine. I am taking care of the machine. Okay. Back stitch that. Now that we have that done, you want to center this in the back. Okay. Take and put this in centered just like this. Top and bottom both. Alright. We're going to sew across the bottom here. Okay. So remember our seam has been centered. Okay, now we're going to sew across the bottom. And make sure it's centered. Otherwise you're going to have one leg that's looser than the other. That's not our goal. Okay. And now for the bottom part. Be sure to back stitch because they will come undone and then it's annoying. And I kind of let this bottom one pull a little and stretch as you're doing it. Just because that's where the foot goes. Oh, clackety clack. I'm so sorry. That, I can tell the bobbin needs changed. It's bad. Oh, I hate that clack noise. Okay. Alright, now what we're going to do, we're going to actually stitch on either side of this seam line. Okay? We're going to see how high up we need to go for the crotch on her. Okay? So, let's hold it up to her again. Alright. And we want the crotch to hit about right there. So we're going to take and mark it with a little pin right there, so that we know how high up the crotch needs to be. Okay. So, and the rest is going to be the legs. So now we're going to take and stitch along here, across this, and back down. Alright? And give yourself enough room that you can cut out between those, because that's what you're going to do. Okay. So. Okay, now when we hit our pin, well, you don't want to hit the pin, but you know what I mean. When you get to the pin, you're gonna flip it over and do the crotch. Now I always run the crotch a little extra. Okay. And then pull the seam over so we can see where we're at. Stitch down the center side. Okay, back stitch. And you're almost done. Almost got a pair of tights. Now, I like my nice big scissors to cut a straight line. And we're going to cut straight up, right in between where we stitched. Okay. Try not to cut too close to that seam, the one you just made. Okay. Now, we're going to do the other side. And let's see. And pull it. Like I said, try not to get too close. Okay. And right here in the middle of the crotch, we're going to want to clip off any extra there. Put a tiny snip in the corner and a tiny snip in the other corner. And that just gives you some mobility. Alright, so there's our pair of tights. Okay, now we got to turn them inside out. Or right side out again, I guess. Da-dum. There's one leg. Da-dum. There's the other. And you know which is the back because it's this. Okay, now let's try them on her just to see if we did a good job. And this is why you use good kid tights on them, because it works quite well. Oops, don't let them get twisted. I let it get twisted there. You want the seam to the side or the back. And by the time it gets down to the foot, you want the seam going along the foot. So do that. Okay, and you do want them tight. That's what they're supposed to be. They're tight. Alright, stick this side on. Uh-oh. Here we have an issue. I cut it too close. I'm going to have to sew that seam again. Dang it. Okay, well, if you cut it too close, it's not the end of the world. You haven't lost all yet. You just go over it. I was worried I was getting a little too close, and I did. Now you know what to do if you get too close. Just go over it again. Okay, back to our tights trying on. This works with any kind of doll you want. Okay, I'll position that on her leg, right? And let's see, what's this one? Ah, over her dolly leg. Alrighty, and what do you know? She has a nice pair of pink tights. Ta-da! That are fitting over her panties even. Ba-dum! And If you feel like this is too loose, just, you know, do it tighter up at the top. No big deal. Well, she has tights that work just fine. She can bend in them. She's great. And that's what you do. Okay, we're going to do those socks. Okay, now it's the same thing, except these don't give as much. Okay, see, they don't have as much elasticity, which makes them a little more difficult and annoying to do. However, they do turn out cute, so I guess we'll do it anyway. So, inside out, use the heel of the sock, and just do the top up, and go kind of an angle. You kind of angle it at the bottom. Cut it close to your seam, not too close. Okay. Flip it inside out. And you have another sock for your doll. Only this one, the seam rides on the front. Okay, let's show you how that works with this doll. So, just stick your foot in there. And what do you know? She has a little sock. And see, the seam just rode on the front. Just because we angled it. And that was all you did. It's not hard at all. I'll do one more just so we can see how to do it. You take your sock, flip it inside out, and you go right along. Just determine how big you need it to be. And then once you see where it, in the knit, it has this line. Can you see that? And that's where they've begun to decrease here and increase here. And that's to give it the angle. So what you do is once you get to that line, that's where you start making your angle this way. Okay? You don't need very much. Okay? So we'll just do that again. Real quick. And then you start angling it. And you just angle it out to the end. Okay. All done. And cut it off. And see, that works really well because it already has those increase, decrease business. You don't have to worry about it. And it looks funny. It does. We're going to turn it inside out. Stick it on her foot. It works just fine. Little socks. Pretty cute little socks for the doll. And that's how you do it. Just easy as that. Yep. And if she's gonna wear shoes, well, it doesn't even matter, you know. This is a little pointy or whatever. So that is how you make really fast socks for your dolls. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed this tutorial for socks and tights for dolls. Alright, well, thanks for joining me today with the tutorials. And we'll have more tips and tricks on sewing for your dolls and more videos. And I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks again. Like and subscribe to Carol's Current Obsession. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.